See the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Stradling. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Oilers in Philly tonight. The long train running that is a 7-game road trip gets underway. I think they'll go 2-4-1. How about you? Nuge out, McDavid, absolute fire. The last time we saw him, it's going to be a fun night tonight. The Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. As you know, we are live on YouTube and Sports 1440, online at iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca. Radio Player Canada. You can text us anytime, 833-401-1440. That's 833-401-1440. After the show, we're on Apple and Spotify podcasts. We tweeted out on X. We're at Twitter, at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, at JFenwick04, at SamW1440, at Donovan Paulson. I know it's a long list, but that's who's on the show today, or will be. Our guest today will be Kevin McCurdy at 1, Daniel Nugent-Bowman at 120, and Duncan with Declan. Declinations at 140 today. Going to be a fun show, lots to talk about, including what's going on with these Edmonton Oilers. What's the best line combination? What would you do if you were king of the world to help these Edmonton Oilers? Okay, it's time for the introductions. One of the introducers, or the person I'm introducing, isn't here yet. But I'm going to introduce him anyway because that's his fault. All right. If he was a weather event, it would be sunshine after the rain. I'll give you an example. He felt so badly for Edmonton Oilers fans, he recently took it upon himself to announce Connor McDavid's signing weeks in advance just to make people feel better. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sam Wilness. Sam Wilness.
Hello. How are we doing today?
Very well.
Also, I'm kind of like NBA Centel. I'm not wrong. I'm just early.
Okay. All right. We'll write that down. Okay. If he was a weather event, it would be thunder snow. Rare, almost unbelievable, yet he leaves an impression, and you'll talk about him for a long time, mostly behind his back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick, everybody.
Talk to me to my face, talk to my face, or talk to my back. You talking about me either way. So,
but don't you think that's unique? Isn't that a positive thing I compared you to?
Yeah.
Have you ever been around thunder snow?
No,
Me either. One time when I was a kid, between my grandma and grandpa's house and my mom and dad's house on the road, this is near Wannock, BC, there was rain on one side and it wasn't raining on the other side. That was pretty cool. Stood right in the middle for just a little while, but I did it. If he were a weather event, it would be a cool breeze. Welcome, enjoyable, refreshing. You always feel better when he goes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everybody. Isn't that nice and complimentary?
That was lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, you want to hear the one for Donovan who's not here?
Yeah, absolutely. He's probably, I mean, he said he was coming in hot. So he's either in his car listening to this or he's gotten out of his car and he's walking in the building right now. So I think there's a chance he's going to hear it.
You just said he's coming in hot. It's interesting because if he were a weather event, it would be extreme heat, suffocating, unbelievable, sweaty heat. You can't turn him down. The thermostat is gone. There isn't one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Donovan Pulse. Donovan Pulse.
Doesn't it seem a little weird to be clapping for the guy who isn't here?
Well, I can't keep you ducks in a row. You guys are all jack-o'-lanterns and you march to your own beat.
It's true.
It's absolutely true.
True.
And I appreciate that about all of you. As I mentioned, we've got McCurdy, we've got Daniel Nugent-Bowman. We'll talk at length about the Edmonton Oilers. Duncan with Declan, a little bit of NCAA action, I'm sure, and NBA as well. Let's go around the room really quickly before we start. What did we do with our Remembrance Day, aside from remember those who fought and gave their lives?
Bought a fan at Canadian Tire.
Yeah.
That was cool. I didn't really do much. Read a little bit. Watched the Clippers. Forgot Clipper. Who did the Clippers play last night? Can't even remember.
Must have been a memorable game.
I didn't do much.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
It was
a nice day off.
Do you buy fans on the off season? Like, do you buy winter pants in June and stuff, or did you just needed a fan?
Just a fan. It was from my girlfriend actually. She left it too close to her fireplace and it like burnt. It broke.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I know. So I went and picked one up at the old Canadian Tire.
Oh, that's not good.
It was lovely. Yeah.
By the way, I thought Donovan was coming to the room, but it was Brandon, and now he's here. He's visiting.
Yeah.
Very important to be on the show.
No respect.
None.
Just walks right in here.
Hey.
Yeah.
No respect.
All right, Oilers. Connor McDavid. I want to start here because he's done it a million times. But that spinorama goal and the fact that he willed them to. Now I know that others scored to get them there, but my God, Connor McDavid, what an absolutely abundant, brilliant hockey player we are witnessing. And I know there's miles of problems on this team. We're going to talk about them today. But can we take a moment to appreciate Connor McDavid and what he is?
Incredibly talented, maybe the most talented player we've ever seen. Like, I'm kind of the opinion, Gretzky's obviously the greatest. And I think Gretzky probably will forever be the GOAT just because of the numbers he put up and all the hearts he won and, the impact he had on hockey. But I'm more of the opinion that Connor McDavid is the best player to have ever played the game. And I've said this, like in 50, 60 years, whoever's dominating in that era will be the best player to ever play the game because as sports evolve and as sports science evolved and as health and wellness evolve, you get that. And you get these guys who play at an upper echelon level. That's just natural. Like, Bill Russell was the best of his era, then Jordan, and then LeBron, and soon it's going to be Wemby. Like, that's what happens. But Connor McDavid, his ability to do things that we just don't see and his ability to make things look so easy is really something to behold. And again, like I've said this, the fact we get to watch it 82 times a year is something we should really sit down, shake our head, and take our time to appreciate.
He's amazing. And he's available. You can go get a ticket to watch him play at home like about 60 times a year because they play playoff games in preseason as well. So young man who didn't show up on time, truant, Donovan, how are you?
I'm excellent this morning.
I called you. I said if you were a weather event, you'd be heat.
I heard it. Yes. Yeah. Right on my, I made sure to, I heard my name coming up as I was coming in hot.
Yeah.
And I just made sure to stay just so I could make sure I heard it. Right. Yes.
So what did you do with your Remembrance Day? And what did you think of Connor McDavid's two brilliant goals?
Well, my Remembrance Day was filled with remembering as well as just relaxing and taking the day off, which, I mean, I'm sure you listeners would know because you hear us consistently all the time. We don't get many days off.
No.
So
I actually drove into the parking lot with my Mr. Microphone and did a show.
Oh, did you?
It wasn't broadcast. Yeah.
As for Connor McDavid, he wasn't going to let them lose against Columbus, right? That was the big takeaway that I think everybody had. That was the takeaway that Chris Knobloch had. He's the man, right? And say what you will about the Oilers' offensive start. that was the wake up game for Connor McDavid.
Yeah, he certainly, and at 5-on-5, he went from 107 to 137, and now I think it's 156 or something like that. He's on his way. One thing that I really found interesting the other day was, I think it was Speck who said, "What's the personality of this team?" And then they asked the coach, and he said, "Well, it's McDavid and Draisaitl." And then everybody said, "Well, they're not hard." The Edmonton Oilers are skilled. You can't take a skilled bunch and say, why aren't they hammering people into the board? Because that's not how they're built. You've said goodbye to Evander Kane, and you said hello to Ike Howard. You said goodbye to Corey Perry, and you've said hello to Matt Savoy. And you signed Trent Frederick, but Trent Frederick, God love him, I love him as a player. He's not getting to the play in time to have an impact. So this is the team you have. If you wanted a pound away, flesh beating team, you'd be like the Boston Bruins, who, but trust me, when they sign a free agent, it's not all about skill. Have you seen what they've been doing? And you can have that, but you've already got McDavid and Draisaitl. So you are a skill team no matter what you do. So as much as you get angry at Bouchard and all the players on the ice who have skill, they are here for a reason. They're playing complementary roles to those two players. I know you want to have a little more aggression, and I agree with that. But I think the aggression is going to come in the form of guys like Zach Hyman, who are really aggressive in pursuit of the puck, and Matt Savoy, who does the same. Do you think, I'll start with you, Donovan, do you think this team is built incorrectly around skill, and they should eschew that and go after being very physical instead?
They're not built incorrectly in that sense, but I would say that they need to find an identity as a bottom six. That's my big takeaway to this point in the season, is you have a bunch of guys in the bottom six who are just kind of running around and not doing a whole lot. Like you watch Trent Frederick, he gets the fight going. You know what?
He got pounded.
But that's Matthew Olivier. You expected that, but he at least brought a little emotion to their team and to that bottom six, right? Like that bottom six has done largely nothing. Adam Henrique's been the most effective player in that bottom six, no question. And you've had a bunch of little guys skating around. You can't have that as your bottom six.
The fundamental problem that I see is that the coach is hesitant. I noticed Savoy, we're going to talk about the line in a minute, but Savoy is on the top line. They've been playing, he and Ike Howard have been playing depth roles. And when you do that, you've got two rookies who are not terribly physical playing against guys who are just running around, trying not to get scored on and making sure that everybody knows they're there.
I just think, like, I'm going to point at this bottom six where it's just everybody feels the same. Everybody feels like they are kind of along for the ride, right? And that can change really quick with the insertion of one more physical player or one more impactful player. It's just they have such a similar, like Ike Howard, Matt Savoy, smaller, skilled, speedy guys who I wouldn't play in my bottom six at all this year. I look at Noah Philp. He doesn't hit a thing. You look at Adam Henrique, slower, not particularly physical. Trent Frederick hasn't been particularly physical, but I think we expect it to come a little bit more. And then you're looking at now Matthias Janmark, who is probably, he's not very physical either, but he might have the most jam out of the bunch.
He has no fear, we'll say that. What about you? Where are you with the bottom six, but also with the Oilers in terms of them being skilled versus physical?
Well, unbelievably underwhelming, I think the bottom six has been this year. Listen, like, they are a skilled team and they have to play as such. And I know you've had issues with how Knobloch coaches them based on their skill, and I couldn't agree more. Like, this isn't a team who should. This is a team who should have a very clear identity. And that identity should be living and dying off their skilled players, in my opinion. And I don't think Chris Knobloch has done that to the best of the ability. I think he's trying to coach in a way that he's comfortable with, and credit to him for doing that. He's made 2 Stanley Cups, but I don't think how the roster is set up, I don't think that style of coaching, or that idea of coaching, maybe is a better way of saying it, is conducive to what is on the roster.
When I saw this team at the beginning of the year, I said that it looked to me like Chris Knobloch had rejected Stan Bowman's summer. He was playing Draisaitl and McDavid together, even though the GM had gotten wingers in Mangiapane and others. And I still kind of feel that way because the kids have been left behind. Now, they're not scoring. It's not like I can sit here and say, come on, Savoy's got some things going on the power play, and we got a couple of goals here from Ike Howard. But if that's not working, then you send Ike Howard down. And I like the lines that they have tonight if they stay with them. And that's the other big problem is that they tend not to. But I feel like the coach is trying based on the Columbus game where he did have Savoy playing. It's McDavid between Savoy and Mangiapane tonight. Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Roslovic. Have no quarrel with that. Roslovic's been a real good player. Henrique with Howard and Frederick. And then Philp with Janmark and Lazar. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Wallman, Kulak, Emerson. The other thing, it's 12-13, so we're not going to be able to talk about it. But we will as the day goes along. I understand benching Bouchard, but shouldn't Darnell Nurse be the next guy to get benched? Because, his coverage has been a little bit weak here of late.
I'm going Andrew Mangiapane.
You want him benched?
After last game, that giveaway?
He's not been playing well.
That tailor-made giveaway to give the Blue Jackets the 4-2 lead, that's the bench play right there.
He can't make.
He was dash 3.
He can't make passes, and he doesn't win puck battles. And he's just a guy who's been gifted the top 6 role and really hasn't done anything to make the most of it.
When he played in Calgary, he was in a feature role. When he went to Washington, they faded him. He was on like the 4th line a lot.
Yeah, he was.
Beginning to wonder if that, it was recommended by Josh as a free agent signing. You may remember that. And Josh, being that he's familiar with the Flames, we shouldn't have trusted it.
No.
So that was the big issue there. Good job, Josh. Nicely done.
You're welcome. You know what? Maybe he's just old. Maybe that's just the way it is.
Oh.
Father time, undefeated. I'm aware he's only like 29 or whatever he might be.
Sounds like we're having another staff meeting talking about Lowetide again. Maybe he's just old. I don't know. I think he'll get better. And I do like Mangiapane as a player. Anything we need to mention in the first segment before we go that we haven't talked about? Basketball, baseball, football. By the way, lots of rumors in baseball right now. Bichette apparently has a dozen teams interested either in him playing shortstop or third base, depending upon who the incumbents are on the teams that are interested in him. Jays, if they're going to sign him, they better open up the checkbooks if that many teams are interested in him.
They'll be fine.
Yeah,
I think they'll be fine. I don't think it's going to get to a point where you're going to see Bo Bichette getting, like, he's not going to get $500 million. Like there's a cap on what you're going to give Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Jays are going to either match whatever the best offer is, if it needs to come to that, or Bo Bichette will just sign for a smidge less to stay in Toronto. I don't think you're going to see him go to like Detroit.
Yeah. We didn't get a chance to talk about the brilliant Monday Night Football game, Declan. That was a fantastic football game.
Listen, a football game doesn't have to be 40-37 to be good.
I agree.
You can watch the game and appreciate good defense. Yep. And how about this? Devontae Smith, he had that huge play. That was pretty exciting.
It was
biggest play of the game for the Eagles.
He had to get that ball because it was not thrown perfectly.
Now, that final kick by McManus was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Funny.
It's like, I don't know if anyone here has played NCAA 25 or 26, the football game, but basically there's kind of a running joke on the internet. You need a PhD to take field goals in that game because it's so hard. And when you miss it, it looks exactly like what McManus did in that one. Listen, the Eagles, I think it was safe to say whoever won that game, with all respect to what the Rams did against the 49ers, I think most people were going to perceive the winner of that game as the best team in the NFC. Eagles get it done. I think it's fair to say to this point in the season.
Lane Johnson got hurt. Ankle, I believe.
Yep.
That hurts because
he's huge.
He's one of those key players.
He's just one of the, like if I told you Lane Johnson started playing in 2001 and was this effective, you'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. And if I told you his career is going to end in 2035,
well, he was a first overall, right? I think he was.
He was a first round. It wasn't first overall.
Oh, okay. All right. I loved him.
But he's a great player. I mean, he is such a staple of that team. Offensive line is often a forgotten position group because it's not glamorous, but the value they have when they play at the top level can't be overstated.
Brandon Graham's back, and he, I think, started in 1994. Like, that's a guy who has played.
He's been there forever. Yeah.
A long, long time. All right. We're going to take a break. On the way, here's how it's going to go today. We have rumors on the way next. At 1 o'clock today, it's Kevin McCurdy, Daniel Nugent-Bowman from The Athletic at 1:20. Declinations will be Duncan with Declan at 1:40 today, which means we're going to read your comments and text on the way. We're going to talk about the rumors going around the league. We'll mention Nuge, who's not on the road trip, and so much more. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Krueger50. That's code Krueger50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner. Wing Wednesday at First Round. Whether you're coming for the first round, the last round, or a few rounds in between, they've got you covered with half-price wings every Wednesday night. Half-price wings. Over 35 delicious flavors like Cajun salt and pepper, maple bacon, and Inferno wings. Now half price every Wednesday night. Wash them down with a cold pint of Canadian or Coors Light for only $5.75. Half price Wing Wednesdays at First Round in West End and now downtown. First Round, burgers, beer, sports. Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Don't look now, but I think we're being followed.
Oh, that's just my Fountain Tire sidecar.
Well, they're driving pretty close.
Because they're attached.
Save up to 15% on select tires until December 13th.
Cool.
Plus, get up to $125 off a set of 4 Goodyear tires.
Anything else?
Get $50 off a $150 service when you buy those tires.
Well, that's handy.
Yep.
And weird.
Well, I love my Fountain Tire sidecar.
Book your appointment online today. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
At Sherwood Honda, SUV must stand for Sell Us Vehicles. Because if you have an SUV, Sherwood Honda sure would love to buy it. Any make, any model. If you're driving an SUV that's in good shape and yours to sell, you should turn around and head to Sherwood Honda for a really good price. And if you're not driving an SUV, that's okay. Sherwood Honda sure would still be happy to sell you a vehicle too.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. We're making it easy. Man, I love that song. The whole album, Machine Head, Deep Purple. If you have an uncle or somebody who's really old, who loves the rock and roll, get them a vinyl copy of that album. They'll love you forever. Vinyl is something you used to make records about. They were called LPs.
You know, I got a question because vinyls have made a real comeback with Gen Z, you know, the nostalgia factor and the vintage factor. Yeah. Do you think in the next like 5-10 years, we're going to see that with CDs as well?
God, I hope not. Because here's the reason why LP albums were so good. Because you'd buy Machine Head, right?
Yep.
And then you'd take it home and you'd blow off all the dust and you'd put it on the turntable and you'd put the stylus on. And then you'd play it too loud, so your dad would hammer on the door and tell you to turn it down. But then you could read the lyric sheet. You could look at the album. You could try to identify the stupid with the flare gun who burned the place to the ground. And you could kind of have an experience with the album that was very personal. And you don't really get that with the CD, and I love Spotify and all that stuff. But I think when you can hold something in your hand, man, it's a little more real.
It's like one of those things like top 10 questions science still can't answer, like how music plays off of vinyl. You could have anyone in the world explain that to me and I won't get it.
Do they still have that show where people say stuff and then they test it out and blow stuff up to see if it works?
Mythbusters.
Yeah. Do they still do that?
Yeah. I think it's still on the Discovery Channel, but they have new cast.
Okay.
Because the other guys just got too old to do the stupid stuff?
Well, the two others, they have new shows. I don't know what happened to the other cast, but I do know one of them ended up dying, sadly.
Oh, well, that's really sad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to move on. Rumors brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. I mentioned earlier, and I did pass along the lines and pairings, but I want to do it again with the additional information that young Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who is not as young as some of the other guys, but he's still, I don't think he shaves yet. He is not there, and he's not, do you think he shaves?
No, I don't.
Right. I don't. Right. Anyway, he's not on the team today. So it's McDavid, Savoy, Mangiapane, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Roslovic, Henrique with Howard and Frederick, Philip with Janmark and Lazar. Before I go any farther, any comments on the lines? And I have a comment on the line, but I'm going to wait until the end. Anybody want to comment on the four lines? I know you hate Mangiapane.
I don't hate Andrew Mangiapane. I don't have really any large gripes with Mangiapane. It's just he doesn't work with Connor McDavid. I think
it's not working. I'll say that.
I don't think he works, and I don't think he will work with Connor McDavid. To me, this is just a player who's going to be your probably similar to Washington. He'll be a third or fourth line staple for you.
No.
Like he'll be productive in that role.
Right.
It's just
it's a disappointment based on what the hopes were.
Based on what the hopes were, it's a disappointment. But I have no question that relative to Jeff Skinner or Victor Arvidsson, he'll be able to play that role effectively.
That's I think that's very well put.
I love the second line. Like I love Podkolzin and Dry and Roslovich on the line. It's interesting. I was listening to the post-game show. I think it was after the Colorado game, and Walks, and maybe you as well, were ripping into Noah Phil pretty well and just saying, like, listen, it's a cool story. We all like to champion young players, but he's not it.
He's also 27.
He's not young.
He's not young at all.
Like he's 27, man.
Well, how many people in this room are 27?
I think we don't know how old I am, 26 to 29. So it's still up, but everyone else is younger with the exception of you.
Right.
And I look at that fourth line and I just think like, no disrespect to Curtis Lazar, no disrespect to Matthias Janmark at this stage in his career, like no disrespect to Noah Philp. I look at that and I'm like, this is a top four line we're putting out on a Stanley Cup winning team or a Stanley Cup contending team. I know they're going to end up with 11 minutes a night at best, but still.
And if Philp is going to be the fourth line center, he has to penalty kill and he has to win faceoffs, and neither of those is necessarily true.
He's doing a little better in the dot. I don't have the numbers.
I'm out on Noah Philp.
Here's what I do like about it, because I think that young Donovan said it best in the previous segment. Savoy and Howard should be in the top six. Now, they're not ready, and I get that. But I do think you have to put one of the two in there pretty much every night. Savoy on the top line, to me, is encouraging. Now, Hyman is coming back soon, so they're going to have to dump somebody from that line. If Savoy, because he scored a couple points on the power play, and he's been close. He turned over the puck against Columbus, damn near scored early. If Savoy plays well enough, would you consider running Hyman with McDavid and Savoy over Mangiapane, or do you like another winger to join McDavid and Hyman when Hyman is healthy?
Well, I feel like that's just going to be Nuge, right?
Yeah, but I'm thinking it would be nice to have Nuge on the third line.
It probably would be, but with looking at how this roster is going to go, I feel like you're just going to see the exact same thing you saw last year of Nuge, Hyman, McDavid. Then you're going to see Draisaitl, that line just remain untouched. And then I think you're going to see probably some variation of Henrique, Frederick, Savoy. I feel like that's probably what you're going to see. Mangiapane slides down to 4.
Is any of those three against the third or fourth line? Can they be a driver? I think Henrique is the closest to being a guy who could make a difference.
He probably is, and
Not
that's
now though.
probably the
That's my point.
problem now. That is probably the problem.
That's why Nuge may be on the. Anyway, we can talk about it, but I hope they consider putting Nuge on the third line because he's got a little torque against other third and fourth liners. The Calgary Flames have placed one of my favorite players on waivers. Justin Kirkland is being sent down. It possibly could be to bring Martin Pospisil back to the lineup for injured reserve. The reason I like Justin Kirkland is he's one of the smartest players you're ever going to see. Now, he hasn't played in the NHL a ton. 39 games is all, and nothing until 22-23 with the Anaheim Ducks. I've watched him a lot in the AHL, and he's really smart. He's the kind of guy, I'm going to say this now, and you're all going to have to remember because I won't be around on the radio when it happens. Justin Kirkland is going to be an NHL head coach. All right. Thank you. When that happens, I expect you to mention it on the air. And neither of you will.
Well, I'm sure that'll happen before the Hurricanes win a Stanley Cup. So I'll keep it up here.
Hurricanes are good this year. This is their year, he said.
I picked them to get out of the East and lose to the Oilers. That was my preseason prediction.
That would be a great. I cannot pick the Edmonton Oilers for the Stanley Cup.
No, not now. I've changed my tune.
I can't pick Vancouver either because Thatcher Demko out 2 to 3 weeks with an apparent groin issue. Here's the thing: older players always get hurt. And goaltenders and groins are like, it is so predictable. It's such a tough position to play anyway. But did you see the play where he got hurt on? He's trying to move from like China to California on one play, and the body won't let him. And now Demko, like the Vancouver Canucks, man, like sometimes they do the damnedest things.
Who would have seen this impending doom coming?
I know. And they already signed a couple of goaltenders. Seeloff's gone now, but they had Lankinen.
Still have Lankinen.
Yeah. Lightning have recalled Boris Tkachuk and Scott Sabourin. There's only 2 reasons to do that. They want Tkachuk and Sabourin to beat up on the Panthers. And that's that. I mean, if I were the league, I'd have like the police in the front row, not the band, but the actual police, because the Lightning have murder in their heart right now. They totally do by making that move. The Devils and the Islanders discussed a Simon Nemec trade. That's interesting because that's another young player who has not necessarily reached the levels they wanted to. Number 2 overall pick not that long ago. But that's the kind of guy that Glenn Sather would have gone after. It looks like the Islanders were doing that. What do you think of that idea?
He's just where he's currently at. He is position blocked to oblivion, right? Like the position blocking there is of monumental proportions, right? And then you throw in another guy like Seamus Casey there, who's also position blocked and is also another good young potential top 4 defenseman. I think you'd be stupid not to go after him if you have the pieces to go after him. Of course.
Yeah. Austin Matthews was removed from a game, and everybody ran to their Matt Sundin statue and prayed. But I don't know if anybody's noticed that Marner is noticeably absent. Like, I know Leafs fans spent the summer saying nobody will notice him. He's gone. I've noticed. And now if Matthews is out for any length of time, the Leafs aren't the team that you think they are right now. I don't think
they're not. But I'll counter your Marner point. It's who they replaced Marner with. They replaced him with 4 $3 million players who are all slow and physical.
They should have picked up Roslovic.
They should have picked up anybody with some speed or anybody with some. This is going to come across as a slight to guys like Dakota Joshua, Matthias Michelli, and Nick Waugh, but they're all not that skilled. If you're going to replace Mitch Marner,
they're complementary offensive players.
If you're going to replace Mitch Marner, bring in a talented player. Don't bring in a Dakota Joshua. Don't bring in a Nick Waugh. Don't bring in a Matthias Michelli. Like, these are all complementary, lower down your lineup players who, listen, that's stupid. Like, if you were going to go, you should have gone, I don't know, after Brock Besser, who's not quick, but Brock Besser's an impactful forward. There was a lot of players they could have grabbed. They just didn't grab the right players.
It's fascinating to me that Toronto and Edmonton and pretty much every Canadian team can't keep pucks out of their own net this year. Like I know things happen in cycles, but why is all of Canada unable to stop the puck? It seems a bit much.
Look at Linus Ullmark this year.
No,
his numbers are appalling.
They are.
This is just a weird year so far.
It is. I agree.
Like you look at the top of the standings to the bottom. Obviously, Colorado looks like the best team in the NHL right now. Still only have one regulation loss. They have 27 points. But then you look at like this mushy middle, and we're looking from, I don't know, let's just say New Jersey in second with 23 points, down all the way to 28th with Columbus. They have 17 points.
Yeah.
Like there is such a clear and obvious mushy middle. We're looking at a potential this year where you can see nobody's going to be out of it till.
Oh, yeah. 90 points might make the playoffs the way some of these teams are going.
We're going to see coming Christmas break. You're still going to see just this gigantic mushy middle. And the only teams who look like they might be out of it are Calgary and Nashville.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. Giants are apparently going to start Jameis Winston in week 11. Are we all happy about that? Is that pleasing to us?
Yes. Thank God. I don't have to watch Russell Wilson play football.
Yeah, I mean, listen, between him and Russ, it's a pretty easy decision. Credit to Russ, man. Super Bowl champion, had a heck of a career, Hall of Fame career. It's beyond over. Jackson Dart's obviously the guy in New York, but here's the big thing. New York sucks, and Jameis is a lot of fun. So let's have some fun.
Yes, I agree.
Does anybody else get irritated by Phil Simms when he talks?
Clearly not as much as you do.
Well, I just you know what I don't like is if you are a legendary footballer in a town and all you do is rip the guys who are playing your position now. You know, like there's a way of doing it. Mac T is commenting on the Oilers a lot, and he does make critical comments, but they're not personal. You can do it.
I wouldn't call myself a Phil Simms guy, but you're probably right there. There's better ways to go about what he says sometimes, for sure.
Draymond Green has challenged the Warriors' commitment to winning. Do we want to talk about that?
Well,
do you want to challenge Draymond Green?
You know, I do think this is what I'll say, and obviously we'll have to get Sam and Josh to hop in here as well because these are hoop heads. This is what I'll say: Draymond and Steph, all they did really for the prime of their careers was dominate and win. And they are, along with Steve Kerr, obviously the head coach, they are the last two there from that iteration of the team.
Right.
And there are a lot of young guys now and a lot of different pieces and some guys who were there, you know, the tail end and, you know, some guys who were there in 22 who have come in. And I just don't think they have the same desire or belief of what the team and what the franchise should be. And so I think a guy like Draymond and a guy like Steph, who have done nothing but win championships and compete, I think they look at that and say, guys, this isn't the Warriors way. We need to be doing it. We need to be competing how we used to compete when we were running the league out of town. And obviously that's easier said than done. The roster is different. The talent is different. But I think that's what really works in Draymond Green's mind.
So they can't get back to that because they don't have the ability, but that's what they're trying to do.
Oh, I think they got a 2-year window to get back to it.
Okay.
Yep.
2-year window.
This year and next year, I think is the chance they have.
I don't even know if Draymond Green's going to be able to run up and down the court for an entire night in 2 years.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's a short window. It's got to be this year or next year.
Like their team is so young. I don't think Buddy Hield's a winning player, though. I don't think he cares. Gary Payton II, he was there when they won. So he gets it. Al Horford, he also gets it. Jonathan Kuminga, we've had some real questions with him over the last 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, basically, of what's he going to be. And he seems like not a quality starter, but an average starter.
How many Gary Payton's kids are going to make the NBA?
Well, he's got one already. I think that's his only son who plays basketball.
How many kids does Gary Payton have?
GP, by the way, what a legend. One of the best
glove
guards ever.
By the way, Joel Embiid apparently has no structural damage to his knee, according to Nick Nurse.
That's not true.
Well, that's what it says. No structural issues.
It's lying to you.
That's not true.
That's what he said. I mean, Nick Nurse would lie?
Even if the MRI came back negative, there's something wrong with his knee. Let me break some news for you. There is something wrong with Joel Embiid's
I don't
knee.
think you're breaking any bylaws here, man.
Nick Nurse said.
I understand what Nick Nurse said, but we've also been on this program before being like, head coaches lie.
No. Apparently the right knee is fine.
Yeah, well, what is he supposed to say? Yes, the right knee is in terrible, terrible condition. Anyways, he's playing starting center tonight, and they're just going to keep going at that right side. Of course, he's going to say there's nothing wrong with his right knee.
Yeah, but they're playing well, and Joel Embiid's knee is fine. What's the problem?
It's not fine, Lowetide. Stop trying to make yourself feel better.
I'm trusting the process. Just let me be.
And even if it is fine, it won't be at some point.
Yeah, no, I'm teasing. His right knee was tweaked. His left knee is always the one that gives him trouble, but his right knee apparently he was tweaked. He didn't play, but I mean he'll be back. But it's
enjoy the last 2 years of Joel Embiid.
Well, I think what Declan said is true. You've got 12 games a year. Just play him in the playoffs. That's the way to go. Like what they did with some of the pitchers this year, where you'd get 24 days off, and then it's Max Scherzer.
He should play 50 games a season, never be eligible for the end of year awards again, never play back-to-backs, and save it for the playoffs.
Gotta go, but Grady Sizemore has been named to the Minnesota Twins coaching staff. That's kind of cool. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
When you visit a Booster Juice location on November 13th and purchase any regular size smoothie, you get another one free.
No way.
Yes way. We celebrate our birthday every year with a special buy one, get one smoothie offer to show our appreciation for our amazing customers from coast to coast.
I'm ready to celebrate.
Thank you, Canada, for 26 wonderful years. We look forward to serving you not one, but 2 delicious smoothies on November 13th. Conditions apply. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Mr. Rooter watches the big game. Go deep! What you watching, Mr. Rooter?
The Plumbing Olympics. Frankie Drain Dragon Sanchez is attempting to break the world record in the 100-meter snake. Watch! Wow! Did you see that? He snaked out a 50-pound clog. And in the middle of that wad, a gold medal. What theater?
Yeah, that's very cool, Mr. Rooter.
For a plumber who's good as gold, call Mr. Rooter.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Get Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Skip the line and save big. Get 65% off genuine leather and reclining sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Plus, get up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. And buy more, save more. Get up to an extra $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Mattresses are up to 40% off, and with every mattress purchase, you're entered for a chance to win a cruise. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly, some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. Adopt a local family and see the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
I've been job hunting for months, but I don't have the skills for the jobs I want. I've been job hunting for months, and with the help of Work First Alberta, I got hired.
Work First Alberta can help you change your story. It connects job seekers with training and resources to find meaningful employment. And it can help employers find qualified candidates. Learn how you can change your story at workfirstalberta.ca. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned, community driven. We're making it easy. Visit WolfGMCBuick.com. Triple C in a truck. Phil Simms and Troy Aikman act like they've never overthrown a ball in their life. See, that's kind of my point. You include Aikman. I don't specifically have any quarrel with Aikman. He killed my Eagles many times. I prefer Romo because he never killed my Eagles. But Simms is just like, I find him to be irritated, probably because he wasn't a great quarterback. I mean, I have a long memory. Aikman was a great quarterback. Simms was not a great quarterback. Who's the greatest quarterback in New York Giants history? Like in your lifetimes?
It's Eli Manning.
Thank you.
Obviously Eli, but if you had to say like who is second best, then you get into the weeds real quick.
Yeah.
But I'd name Joe Pisarcuk before I named Phil Simms.
The second best might already be Jackson Dart.
I like that answer, but I'm just bitter. Doesn't matter. His knee is still attached to his brain. This is about Embiid. People putting down my Philadelphia 76ers.
He's so good at basketball when he plays, too. He had 70 points in an NBA game. It was
so
league MVP. There's been 35 players who have done that.
LT, do you guys know anything about Spencer Martin? The Rangers signed him. Why don't we take a peek? Well, you can't just go get all the goalies. I wrote about, what would a shakeup trade look like for the Edmonton Oilers, and I do think it would be goaltending. I made 3 suggestions. One was Saros, who's really expensive for a long time. Another was Sebastian Cossa, who's playing pretty well in Detroit, and they have enough depth they would be able to trade Cossa in a deal. The third is calling Marc-Andre Fleury. But as far as Martin is concerned, in 24-25 in the AHL, he had a .909 save percentage. And this year in Moscow, at 14 games, he had a .905 with CSKA Moscow. And now he's moved along. He is 30, and he's 6'3", 191. Who would you go after, young Donovan, if you were going to solve the Edmonton Oilers goaltending issues?
Well, it sure as hell wouldn't be UC Saros. I might be inclined to say, despite where they are in the standings right now, if something falls off, I might just say Cam Talbot. I feel like he might actually just be the best option based on price point, based on play. Cam Talbot, for me, is probably the best goalie available. People can keep saying on Twitter, oh, UC Saros. He has an $8 million price tag.
Time's a long time.
This is the first year of an $8 million deal.
Yeah.
And UC Saros was awful last year. And this year, guess what? He's been awful again. UC Saros is not the same guy.
Well, he's playing in front of a terrible team, but you're right. He's not the same guy. I think the Edmonton Oilers probably are in a window to do something like that, and it could be rash. Remember now that the Oilers, when they made a trade for Rolison, it worked really well. That was at a deadline when Kevin Lowe had the team headed to the playoffs, and it was a rental. They ended up signing Rolison. That was a good deal overall. They gave up a first-round pick. But you remember in December of 2018, yeah, 2018, on a Saturday, Peter Chiarelli traded for 2 defensemen, Brandon Manning and who was the other player he traded for?
Alex Petrovic?
Yeah, Petrovic. So he trades for the 2 goaltenders or the 2 defensemen, and he traded not a whole lot, but what they were looking for was to get tough in the middle of the season, which the Oilers may well try to do this year. You really can't do it because teams will trade you the guys who are their fringe 5-6 defensemen. That's what Manning and Petrovic were, and good. I mean, they're good defensemen. I'm not saying they aren't, but you can't change your style by doing that. You're changing the style of the third pairing, but not the overall team. Oilers right now have that problem. They don't have toughness marbled through their lineup. I do think goaltending is going to be the thing they do. I think that there is a real chance that Stan Bowman says, I want to get a veteran guy who can get hot for me. Saros is problematic because of the money and the term. That said, I think this is the way this Edmonton Oilers team is probably going to proceed. I know they want an Alex Tuck, and I get that. I don't know if you can get both the Tuck and the goaltender. And I know that Connor Ingram is out there, but he hasn't played in a while. So one begins to wonder about what's happening there. Stuart Skinner could do everybody a favor by playing brilliantly well. And I always hope for him. I cheer for Stuart Skinner, but he left some gigantic rebounds, like Kevlar rebounds the other night. And still, I know he's quicker and faster and thinner, but he's still not getting across the ice under control on plays where he needs to.
He's kind of just not that good. And I like Stuart Skinner. And I'm not as hard on Stuart Skinner as most people. But the reality is, I think it's safe to say he is what he is. And what he is an average to slightly above average goaltender.
I think that's exactly right. Now, I've long held that Stuart Skinner should be the Edmonton Oilers goaltender, number 1 goaltender. I've come off of that, and the one reason why is because this team isn't as good. So if you're going to win the Stanley Cup this year, you need a goaltender who's going to steal you some games deep into the playoffs. And I don't think that's Stuart Skinner.
I just don't think you're going to find that, period.
You got to look.
There are no goalies available. People can keep telling me UC Saros is the answer. Oh, a change of scenery for UC Saros will bring him back. Are you willing to bet $8 million times 8 years on UC Saros?
There's
change
no way.
Of scenery?
There would have to be retention on that contract.
You would have to pay multiple first-round picks from even to think about taking on UC Saros' deal because he's 5'11" at 30 years old. There's not very many small goalies in the NHL right now. And there's a reason for that. UC Saros, sure, the change of scenery might help him, but I'm not willing to bet 8 years on that. It's a lot to bet.
It's basically the general manager is betting his future on it.
You're betting your career on that.
Yeah. I like everybody's a free agent on this team. I like the idea of going out and getting a Kosa or other because you've got the young kid Johnson shutting out everybody. You've got Skinner. You've got Pickard. But there's an opportunity here. You could take a young goaltender, Askarov or whoever in San Jose. Don't think it'll cost, but it won't cost like the moon. See if that guy's the answer between now and the spring. The Oilers have an opportunity here. Nobody expects this team to go to the Stanley Cup final as they're currently playing. But how often does an Oiler goalie right now steal a game for them?
Borderline never.
It's rare.
We've seen one this season.
Yeah, it is rare, though.
Against the Rangers. Stu Skinner stole that one against the Rangers.
Played great.
Last year, there wasn't very many. You know what? We talk about the money, and this would be really hard for it to work, obviously. But do you just do what the Indianapolis Colts did in the NFL at the deadline and say, you know what, Boston? Here's an extremely stupid offer. Give us Jeremy Swayman.
Well, I like Swayman, but his contract's long too, right?
It's long.
8 by 8.8 or 8
it's
by
a lot of
8.5
money, but I certainly believe he's younger than UC Saros. He's not going to be 38 when his contract expires. I think he's better than UC Saros. The numbers are better. Obviously, he was terrible last year. He hasn't been wonderful this year, but he's not in front of a great team.
I think is like if you're going to take a swing on Swayman, I feel like I'd rather just take that swing on Sorokin.
You're not going to get Sorokin.
No.
Yeah,
you're not
going to get Sorokin. But here's the other thing. I don't think you would. I think Swayman is way more attainable. But I don't think Sorokin feels as untouchable to me as everyone thinks he is on that Islanders team. Like he's going to be like, obviously they're building for the future and they now have a decent little base. And obviously Schaefer's a huge part of that. But it's going to be a few years of me. Like, I don't think you're going to get Sorokin. I don't think you're going to get Sorokin, but I don't think it's a 0% chance.
What about Nico Dawes?
Yeah.
New Jersey has a plethora of them. But you have an opportunity. Remember, everybody's a free agent at the end of the year. Everybody is UFA on this team in goal.
Just doesn't move the needle for me.
Getting
You've got an opportunity.
Getting Nico Dawes is like that's like the goalie equivalent of Noah Philp.
I understand what you're saying, but here's the opportunity to play the guy. We can agree we know what Calvin Pickard is.
Yes.
Right.
He's kind of not an NHL
He's
goalie
now an
anymore.
AHL goalie.
So there's a roster spot to give to somebody. You can't give it to Samuel Johnson because he's only played ECHL and he's played well, but only ECHL. You can't give it to Matt Tompkins. You can't apparently give it to Connor Ingram because he's not even playing right now. So there's an opportunity here on this roster. I don't have a quarrel with going, and I'm not saying Nico Dawes is the end of the world, but if he's available and they have 3 goaltenders, maybe you'll have a look at it. There's a window. I know what honestly, I know what Sam Pollock would do, and he would go auditioning. He would find a guy he liked and say, okay, we're going to give this guy a chance. And Detroit's got 2 goalies in the AHL playing well. One of them is Kosa. I'd see if he were available.
I'd be more inclined to go Kosa, but I don't think I'd be willing to pay the price that I feel like it's going to be necessary to go get him. So that for me, it's like
you have an opportunity here. It's an opportunity to get a guy between now and the deadline and just audition him, and it won't cost a lot. Nico Dawes wouldn't cost much.
Nico Dawes wouldn't cost anything, I don't think, because he's shown basically nothing in his NHL career. But I would be more inclined to just say, bleep it, swing for the fences.
See, that's what I think Stan Bowman's going to do, and that's why I think UC Soros is in the conversation. Josh Mako says Soros, for sure, an upgrade on what we have now, Josh. I don't agree, but I think the Oilers might. I think they have to go get somebody else to play with Skinner, but I'm not totally down on Skinner. I'd keep him on the team, and I think he's a better option. But at some point in time, you can't lose the season to goaltending, and that's why I think a veteran that they trust, not Donovan, but that the Oilers trust, may be the guy that they're after.
Why do people want to give 8 years and $8 million to Stuart Skinner? Not Stuart Skinner. Sorry,
there's no way
UC
they
Soros.
The part of the deal would have to be retention, and that means first round picks.
But
you're right.
I wouldn't even for me. You'd have to give up. Nashville would have to pay me to take UC Soros.
Well, Frank says he's available for not a lot, but that's including the salary. And there's no way the Oilers can take on his salary without retention.
No, and for me, looking at that Soros contract, that is unquestionably one of the 10 worst contracts in the NHL.
Well, then the Oilers should acquire that to collect them all.
Like that is the goalie version of Darnell Nurse.
We're going to talk about Darnell Nurse next hour. On the way, Kevin McCurdy. We also have Daniel Nugent-Bowman and Declinations. Duncan with Declan coming up at 1:40 today. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Time for an update with Sam.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom at 11577 149th Street and bring your next flooring project to life. That's Custom Floors Inc. Oilers start their 7-game road trip in Philadelphia as they take on the Flyers. Puck drop at 5:30 with 3-game coverage getting underway at 4:30. 3 other games in the NHL with the Lightning hosting the Rangers. Sabres face off against the Mammoth, and the Blackhawks look to get a win at home against the Devils. 12 games in the NBA tonight as the Bulls and Pistons kick things off. The Knicks host the Magic. Grizzlies take on the Celtics. Cavaliers head to Miami. Spurs head to San Fran to take on the Warriors. The Wizards are in Houston. The Thunder look to get a win over Luka and the Lakers. The Kings host the Hawks. And wrapping things up, the Clippers take on the Nuggets in L.A. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll be joined by Kevin McCurdy here on Sports 1440. And this has been your Sports 1440 update with Sam Wilness.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, We are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
Don't look now, but I think we're being followed.
Oh, that's just my Fountain Tire sidecar.
Well, they're driving pretty close.
Because they're attached.
Save up to 15% on select tires until December 13th.
Cool.
Plus, get up to $125 off a set of 4 Goodyear tires.
Anything else?
Get $50 off $150 service when you buy those tires.
Well, that's handy.
Yep.
And weird.
Well, I love my Fountain Tire sidecar.
Book your appointment online today. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Krueger to Curious to Lowetide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
I'm getting McDonald's. You want anything?
Oh, yeah. I'll get I've got to get 2 cheeseburgers, medium fries, and a medium fountain drink for $9.99. Hey, maybe I'll eat 1 cheeseburger right away and save one for later. Maybe I'll stack them and eat them both at once. Options. Oh, delicious, delicious options.
So 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and drink?
How'd you know?
You were thinking out loud again. Get yourself a 2 cheeseburger meal for just $9.99 plus tax for a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the 2 best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
High-sticking to breaking down the middle. Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned and community driven. Making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com a little bit after 1 o'clock. Joined now by Kevin McCurdy. Kevin, how are you, man?
I'm doing well this week, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm well. I noticed that the coach, Chris Knobloch, has moved Matt Savoy up to the top line with McDavid and Mangiapane again. I don't know how long it'll last. They checked down from that line on the weekend or on in the game against Columbus. But what are your thoughts on Savoy getting an opportunity here on one of the feature lines and what it might represent?
I'm pretty happy about it. I was more looking forward to Savoy being on Draisaitl's wing, but it's pretty clear that Podkolzin and Roslovic Draisaitl is a thing that works. I think it's good that Savoy gets some time in the top 6. I do think that there is a player there for sure. I'm very happy with his forecheck and his ability to make space for himself. He seems to have a knack for, finding some space when maybe some of the other rookies are struggling in that area a little bit more than he is. But Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing more of him in the top 6 until Hyman returns.
I knew going into the year, based on what the verbal that we heard, that it felt to me like Chris Knobloch wasn't convinced of some of the options that were made available to him on the wing. And then he ended up starting the year with Draisaitl and McDavid on the line, and that kind of tells me that he wasn't convinced of a lot of things. We find out, or at least the rumor is, that McDavid and Draisaitl wanted to be playing together at 5-on-5, and then I have even more worries about what the Twin Towers, the big offensive contributors on this line, think about their line mates. So I'm left with, I think David Tomasic has exhausted much of what he would have had coming into this. Matt Savoy doesn't have any 5-on-5 points, but he has 2 on the power play. Ike Howard has, I think, 3 power play points, two goals, 2 really nice ones. And I find myself, I've always believed that if you invest in players in October, November, December who are young and say rookies, and you give them time, they will be able to perform by the time January, February, March comes along. Do you think that Savoy and Howard are getting enough time?
I think Savoy is going to see more time, at least in the NHL, than Ike Howard is going to. I do, again, I've said this a few times on your show. I really like Ike Howard as a player. I think there's a fantastic upside for this organization there, but I do think he could use some seasoning in the AHL just to get some heavy minutes under his wing in professional hockey. Savoy is, 90% NHL ready now. There's no reason that he shouldn't be paying, 14, 15 plus minutes a night. I do think that I was hopeful, like you were, that at the beginning of the season that they were going to get more play time, but the Oilers as an organization tend to struggle in the October, November timeframe, and they're trying to get some badly needed points secured. So I sort of understand the hesitancy, but I think you need to take a risk with these kids. Savoy is a little bit snake bitten. Last game, I think it was, for example, he had 0.5 of an individual expected goal, in line with the guys that did actually score, Roslovic and McDavid. So I think that his time will come. He is generating quality chances that are, registering quite high as far as individual contributions go. So I think, especially with Savoy, that time is necessary for him.
It's part of this that we're not talking about. It's funny how it works out, because I spent the summer writing about and thinking about and talking about Tomasic, then Howard, and obviously Savoy was going to be a part of it. And then Roslovic comes in, signed basically a month ago. And I've been astounded by not just his scoring ability. He clearly has that, but he's a great passer. He's around the puck a lot. He's been a real find for this organization. And I would argue at this point of the offseason signings that were made by Stan Bowman, that one feels like the most productive so far.
I am increasingly of the opinion that the sooner that they can get a contract renewal done with him, the better. I don't think they should give him a huge amount of term, but I probably think the bottom line number goes up a little bit. He is an incredibly talented player. He thinks the game well. He's in the places that he needs to be. He can be a little bit defensively lazy, and I've heard that from other places outside of the organization. I think that he's a great find for this org. I think he fits really well with Leon's play style, and I think that having somebody that can reliably pull the trigger and again make space for himself, that's the modern game. That's a great fit for us, and he won't be an insane amount of money going forward either.
Do you have any worries about this? And I'm not trying to cast aspersions here. I know that Kasperi Kapanen impresses the hell out of you, like for 3 games, and then he goes away for a while. Do you have any concerns about that? Have you seen enough of Roslovic maybe not to be worried about that?
No, I think Roslovic has repeatedly been a fairly decent goal scorer. I'm not super worried. I'm worried that if anything slips with him, it's his defensive performance in terms of the number of craps he gives, right? Like, I think that as long as they can keep him motivated on the defensive side, and, Chris Knobloch has very clearly been quite strong in that regard. He asks for defensive performance over literally everything else. I think that's not going to be a huge concern for this team. There's a lot of accountability on the defensive side of the puck. So no, I'm not concerned about him in the same way that I would be in Kapanen. And to be fair to Kapanen, I think Kapanen has been a different beast with this organization than he has been with any of his previous ones. He's really found a groove here, and I think the team does actually miss him quite a bit from their lineup.
Well, he certainly is aggressive, and he will, make plays, and he's, a little faster than some of the guys that they have. Kevin McCurdy, our guest on Sports 1440 in the Lowdown with Lowetide, wanted to ask you about the benching of Evan Bouchard. I look at the numbers and I say, Bouchard's having a tough time, as is Ekholm. Expected goals suggest that they will regress. And I'm watching Darnell Nurse not really cover anything on goals. And I benching is fine. I'm not going to quarrel with it. I think Bouchard is a guy who could have, been placed on the second pairing for a time. But if you're going to do that, I think that you might not want to stop at one because there's a few guys who are really struggling on the defensive group for Edmonton.
Yeah, if you're making that the standard, if you're going to bench him for that slash, which I get it. He's made a bunch of dumb mistakes in a row, and you got to make a point eventually. But that's not the hill I would have died on doing it either. I guess that it's a culmination of a number of errors leading up to that point. But I would have benched him for some brutal giveaway as opposed to a relatively minor stick infraction. That being said, I 100% agree. If that's the standard for benching defensemen, then we should be benching Darnell Nurse about 16 times a night right now. Like it's pretty bad. And Ekholm has had his struggles. I think he gets a pass because I think he's still honestly recovering from a groin injury, and he's 35. It takes time, right? There's no easy answers there when it comes to injuries. I don't think he's making mental mistakes so much as his body is not keeping up with the physical demands game in and game out right now. And I do think he's getting better game over game. But Nurse covering the ad on the boards, as Darcy McLeod put it on Twitter, I don't. That's inexcusable. That should have been an automatic. You ride some pine for 5 minutes and think about your sins, and the lack of accountability when it comes to Nurse and to an extent Bouchard up to this point has been a real frustration because it doesn't encourage the kind of accountability for those guys specifically that they need in order to be successful. Last time Nurse got benched, he turned into a superstar for a game. Right? Like it's sometimes about driving results by applying enough feels bad to the situation, if you know what I mean.
I wanted to talk about this organization right now. I wrote an article about, a shake-up trade, and I chose goaltending, but it could be somewhere else. And I've observed this organization for a long time, and I will tell you that I trust Stan Bowman in a way I didn't trust Peter Chiarelli. But Chiarelli in late December of 2018, I believe, made a 2 trades in one day, picking up Petrovic and Manning, two tougher defensive guys who could win wall battles but couldn't really, play in the top 4. It didn't help. Everybody lost their job, McClellan, Chiarelli, others. But that's the sort of deal a general manager under pressure makes. I don't believe Stan Bowman will do that. Do you? And secondly, is there a goaltender out there that you think the Edmonton Oilers should or may be focused on acquiring?
I don't think that Stan Bowman will make a trade like that. Their assets are limited. Their cap space is even more limited. I think if you're going to see a goalie, if you're going to go for a superstar goaltender, it's going to be in the offseason. And you know what? Maybe somebody like UC Saros needs a change of scenery, and the Nashville Predators look to offload that contract for cheap. That's entirely possible. I'm not going to hang my hat on that. It's funny you bring up the Brandon Manning trade, because that is one of the worst trades in the history of this organization, for a number of interpersonal reasons, never mind on-ice performance reasons. I don't see Bowman making those kinds of mistakes. He is very selective in who he adds and when he adds, and he's known to do a bunch of minor tweaks during the season. But I don't see, unless the right opportunity presents itself, that they're going to be jumping all over, burning up their limited number of assets to get it done. With that said, a number of promising goalies, DiPietro in Boston and Dawes in New Jersey, went through the waiver wire this year, and they're currently lighting it up in the NHL. In the AHL. So you would have figured that they would have used an opportunity like that to snag a real, third, at the very worst, third string goalie that can push into the top of this organization and give some challenge to Pickard and Skinner to, make it truly competitive. And I wish that they would have done that, but those are still the two guys that I would go after to try and get them out of their respective organizations in order to make a short-term improvement.
7-game road trip. Kevin, what do you expect from this?
If they come out of this with 50%, we're laughing. That's where
I think that's true. If they get 7 points in 7 games, I've got them going 2-4-1, which is 5 points. But it's a lot of that is based on the fact that they just haven't played well this year. They're not terrible. I mean, it sounds like if somebody were, arriving from Mars, they'd think, "My God, the Oilers are terrible." They're not. They're not far away from it. They're just they're vanilla. And I've never seen this team in the McDavid era be less interesting.
I think it's important that people have reasonable expectations about what this team is. This is not the team of the last 2 years. This team is not going to be able to, flip the table and completely alter the script for the rest of the season in the same way that previous iterations of this organization were able to. Right. So I think that it's important that people, if they have those expectations, understand that it's going to take a little bit more even-tempered approach of improving their overall play game over game, because I just don't think there's that, table flipping element that they've had in previous years, where something goes horribly wrong. They get in a fight in a 6-0 blowout, and then all of a sudden they go on a 14-game win streak or whatever it was 2 years ago. I just don't see this being the same team in that capacity. That does not by any stretch of the imagination mean that this is a bad team or that they cannot achieve good results. It's just a different team, and we should set our expectations accordingly.
Thanks for this. Appreciate it, Kevin.
No worries. Have a good week, everyone.
There you go. Kevin McCurdy. He joins us every Wednesday. Great conversation. I love his points about the goaltending and really this team. I mean, he makes a great point. I think that Edmonton Oilers fans do appreciate teams that work hard and pursue the puck. And I think that's why Zach Hyman will be a huge addition, just basically on getting involved at a level that makes everybody get involved, because you have to. And Hyman, we knew he was a key to the team. And now that we've seen this team for a prolonged period without him, then we damn well know that he is. Daniel Nugent-Bowman on the way from The Athletic. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and people who suffer brain fog might think it's just going to be part of their life. But listen, I've seen a 38-year-old mom managing a concussion read her kid a bedtime story without losing the plot, all because of cognitive rehab that rewires the brain like a GPS reboot. Your brain isn't broken, it's buffering. One missed beat in focus, memory, or balance snowballs into frustration, falls, or forgotten keys. Stroke, concussion, long COVID, even aging can all lead to brain fog. Cognitive rehab works. Check us out at leadingedgephysio.com before your next "where'd I put my phone" moment. moment.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. Adopt a local family and see the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready. I'm not just here to make a thermal a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom. I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Stradling. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
It's week 1 of Canadian Tire's early Black Friday sale.
These prices won't go lower this year.
Lower, you say?
Save up to 50% November 6th to 13th. Conditions apply. Details online.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown at 1:20 on Sports 1440 Radio, also on YouTube. We have the cast of thousands waiting to do declinations at 1:40, coughing, sneezing, spreading germs in this room that I'm in, as we talk to our friend Daniel Nugent-Bowman from The Athletic. Daniel, how are you?
Better than that. That doesn't sound like a very nice, nice work environment.
It is like it. There, I swear to you. It's like, have you ever gone to like school? You take your little child to school and they kind of got a clammy hand, and then maybe you touch somebody and you realize all of them have clammy hands and there are germs everywhere. And then at the end of the week, your child comes home with a cold that lasts 2 days and you're sick for 2 weeks.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It does sound familiar. Yeah. That happened to me in February around the Four Nations time. So.
Yeah.
I'd like to avoid that, but you're painting a pretty clear picture of everyone's nightmare.
It really, except they're adults, which means that, when they sneeze, it goes farther. So I have to, it's timely today because you got a great article out. Edmonton Oilers complete let me just get it here. Edmonton Oilers forward makeover isn't working. What's gone wrong? And we've been talking about this, and at the beginning of the year, the names we were talking about, looking forward to seeing, right? And so you're sort of hoping that maybe Tomasek is going to work out and Savoy is going to work out. And if they don't work out, maybe it's going to be, somebody else. And up until this point, I mean, I think we could say Roslovic, but it's been tough.
Yeah, I think they brought in like the forward mix. Half of it was changed. It's quite the overhaul, and it's starting to get to the point where a lot of you're starting to wonder if it's working, and a lot of these guys they haven't worked. Now people I talk to is just you're taking out a lot of established players, and Some of them need to go because of age or contracts, or they're trying to inject some youth into the team, but they may have taken it to a bit of an extreme. Yes, there were cap situations and cap issues at play here, but they basically brought in 4 guys that had never played in the league, or obviously very little. In the case of Matt Savoy and Noah Philp, and it's just tough in the NHL to take out that many guys that have proven they can score for all these guys that haven't shown it yet. It's one thing to bring in a rookie or 2, but they've essentially brought in 4. And granted, obviously, Tomasik is not a young guy. He's 29, but has never played in the league. And Philp wasn't brought in for his offense. So you're looking at those 4 guys, Ike Howard and Savoy being the other 2. But they also brought in Roslovic, who has worked. It took a little bit of time naturally because he missed camp. But Mangiapane, they just haven't found the right role for him either. Because again, it was pitched to him that they could find more of a role than he got in Washington, where he was a bottom 6 player and didn't really play on special teams. So what it comes down to, I think, is that the team's a little bit smaller up front now too, and they're clearly relying a little too much, or maybe a lot too much, on Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Making them part of the penalty kill, and really leaning on them, especially without Hyman together for a lot, has kind of changed the makeup of the team, and it hasn't really worked out. And there's a lot to kind of go on there, but it's kind of a nuanced problem that will take some time to get sorted.
Do you think, I know that everybody's looking forward to Zach Hyman coming back. I assume he's going to go right on the top line. And I get that and I understand that. But is this maybe, wishful thinking? Do you think that's maybe a little bit too much to ask a guy who's coming off an injury that involves a wrist? Right.
Maybe. They kind of lack options though. And I could see them starting him lower down initially, but it wouldn't take long if that's the route that they go, for them to move him back, pretty quickly. I think Hyman adds, maybe not right away, but I think in time he will add the some of the components that they've been missing. Like a kind of a net front guy, a guy who's good on the forecheck, obviously a proven scorer. Like he's their top natural winger. And again, it changes the dynamic where the organization feels that he's having him there makes it not as they can separate McDavid and Draisaitl and feel a little bit more comfortable doing so when the team's in a bind. So it's unrealistic to say Hyman's just going to come in and be a 30-goal scorer or whatever on a prorated basis right away. It's going to take some time. But they're kind of in tough, I would say, they need offense, right? Especially 5-on-5, and Hyman is somebody that could help them do that. So I think they will turn to him pretty quickly. It's interesting to me because I as you get older, you see things happen and you recognize a certain cycle or trend. And one of the past trends for this organization has been often a late December or mid-season deal. I remember when Peter Chiarelli traded for both Alec Petrovic and Brandon Manning in December of 2018, I believe, on the same day. And I don't think this team will do that. I don't think they will. And they have always expressed that they want a bigger forward. I think that's the way they go, maybe an Alex Tuch. But I also sense, at least, I think that there would be some conversation about goaltending. Connor Ingram hasn't played the last several games for the Condors. Are you convinced that they aren't looking, or do you think they might be looking for help in goal? And do you think they might be prone to making what might be considered to be a panic or a shakeup kind of a deal? No, I don't know if the panic shakeup deal is there. I mean, with Hyman coming back and Nugent Hopkins too. I mean, Hyman's the guy with the money on the books and stuff, but they're going to have to make some roster moves, and so that will be kind of, I think, an internal shakeup with those two coming back, and then in December, in a few weeks, likely Kasperi Kapanen too. So I mean, that's 3 forwards right there. I think a lot of it is internal. Like the top forward on defense, Bouchard, Nurse, Ekholm, Wallman, really haven't played that well this year, right?
No.
So I think you're expecting more from that group and the defense as a whole that was supposed to be a strength of this team that really hasn't been. So I don't sense there's a panic move there. There's also, again, the cap considerations where, they only have so much, or so many moves that they can make, given, how many guys have protections in terms of no trade, no moves, and just, again, how tight they are to the cap. Now, as for goaltending, yes. I mean, I think goaltending, it's gotten to the point where they're looking, right? And it's not an easy thing to pull off. I think the guy that you bring in, you have to feel very confident that he's an upgrade over Stuart Skinner. So that wasn't the case, unequivocally, regardless of him working his way back in Connor Ingram. Like that's a guy that, has missed a lot of hockey and still working his way back, like I said. So that's somebody who could be an option, was supposed to be an option, but we don't know if he'll ever get to that point, as I wrote a couple weeks ago or whatever. And now it's at a point where they need to, if they're going to go down that road, they need to find somebody who's better, right? So that costs money, that costs assets, that costs, maybe even more money and assets to take to have a team retain salary, if that's what it takes too. So it's a complicated one to pull off, and they're still giving Skinner that time, though. I mean, they have the ability. They have the start hasn't been good, but they're not in dire straits yet in terms of where they are in the standings. So they do have a little bit of time to let him and the team figure itself out. But yeah, at some point, with him being Skinner and being in the last year of his contract, and this being such an important year, right? There's 3 more cracks at it with McDavid. Like they do have to look at goaltending, and I think they are.
Well, and they don't have it's a very unique situation where everybody basically is unrestricted at the end of the year, and that's both a challenge for the management, but it's also an opportunity. Have you heard anything about Ingram? Like he didn't play the last 2 games. It's been a while since he played. He has struggled early. My sense, based on the last conversation we had, was that you felt it was going to be a longer process. Nico Dawes, Di Pietro, they're playing well in the farm. Sebastian Cossa in Detroit's having a good run. Do you think there's any chance they go underneath a name goaltender just to audition here between now and the deadline? Or do you think it's kind of all, let's get through the wintertime and get to the deadline and then maybe look at an upgrade?
Well, if they go down that road, it'll be to replace Calvin Pickard and not Stuart Skinner, right? Like you can't have some of those names that you're mentioning who might have a lot of upside, who you might think can be a good like a very good goaltender even down the road, and have that guy come in to be the number one. So that is nice. It's all well and good, and it could work out, but it's either in that scenario that guy is there to push Skinner or support Skinner, but you're probably not feeling that much better with, like, this isn't a team, 10th, trying to win a playoff round or on the cusp of moving ahead. Like, this is a team trying to win the Stanley Cup. So you're not trusting that guy, some of those names that you mentioned, to come in and expect them to be a starting goaltender, in the second or third round or the Stanley Cup final. So that could be part of the equation to get them through in the interim. But what it really comes down to is how much they believe, or what they think they can get in a trade to change the Stuart Skinner scenario. Like, he's either going to be the starter or they have to find somebody better. And that's what it really comes down to. Again, there's no, it's fine and consideration to try to replace Calvin Pickard because, he hasn't been very good either. But it does come down to in the playoffs, Skinner or somebody trying to find somebody better, I think.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, our guest from The Athletic. Final question for you, Daniel. You've watched a lot of hockey. You do a brilliant writing, and you have, I think, the most interesting subject to cover in certainly in the NHL. The other night, Connor McDavid did what he has done so many times, and that is just, alter the game's outcome with, in this case, two brilliant goals, including a spinorama goal that still looks like it was choreographed or, just from another dimension. How much fun is it to write about and to observe this player?
Yeah, you know what? And I haven't covered his whole career, but I've covered every year after his entry-level deal. So I missed the first three. And, I mean, there have been some pretty phenomenal moments of him or with him on the ice and what he's been able to do. Obviously there's some great regular season moments as we saw the other night, and there's some in the playoffs too. Like, he's a guy who always, I shouldn't say always, but almost always kind of shines through in the moments at its biggest, or the stakes are at their highest. And that was kind of the case on Saturday, right? Like, yeah, it was a regular season game in November, but they just got crushed on Saturday night. Second period's just ending and they're getting booed off the ice, and he scores two goals that not many of his peers could do. So, Chris Nalbach said he wasn't going to let the team lose, and that kind of shows through. Like, that's the type of player that he is. Like, he comes through when it matters most. So, yeah, it is pretty interesting to watch him. It's fun to write about him. But it's crazy to think he's only 28 and, he's at 1,100 points, and he's accomplished already things from an individual perspective that just a handful of the game's true elite have done. So in obviously an era where there's a lot more players and a lot more teams to contend with to try to win different trophies and stuff too. So he's one of one, and it's been pretty cool to kind of chronicle his career and his on ice feats over the last several years now.
Daniel, thanks for this. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Al. We'll talk to you again soon.
There you go. Daniel Nugent-Bowman, who is our regular Tuesday guest. He graciously agreed to move to Wednesday today because of Remembrance Day. But Connor McDavid, his comments are on point for sure. I think he's one of the best number one overall picks the Oilers chose. No comments, boys. No. Would you say
it's a hot take, but I don't hate it?
It's a really hot take. Really put yourself out there.
Well, it had to be said. So coming up, it's Declination's Duncan with Declan.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about where we're going?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I want to, Josh and Sam are some resident hoop heads here. I want to get their takes on what they're thinking about the NBA season so far this year. I just want to talk a little bit quickly about Nico Harrison's firing in the new All-Star format.
Okay. Yeah. So is it going to be World versus,
it is,
New York?
It is. It's going to be Team America versus the World.
And the World has the basketball.
Dude, by the way, might as well just go ahead and give that trophy to Team World right now. Shea, Giannis, Jokic, Luka, they could play 4-on-5 and win.
Are NBA fans ready for that?
I think they're going to find out pretty quickly. So,
all right, on the way, Duncan with Declination straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a
Basketball show turns 10, and we welcome a new generation of basketball talk. Hoop City with Paul Sir airs Saturday mornings from 10 till noon on Sports 1440. From grassroots to NBA to the Olympics, we've got you covered.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League's fourth season is now underway. The JPHL offers elite athletic and academic opportunities for players in the 14U, 15U, 17U, and 18U divisions. All games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV, featuring a showcase-style schedule and competitive matchups across Western Canada. Players work with experienced coaches, trainers, and elite hockey personnel. Learn more about Western Canada's fastest-growing elite hockey development stream at juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson, and I'm joined by a very important member of our team, Jody. She coordinates our crew and job packages for all furnace replacements, air conditioner, and heat pump installs.
And Dennis, I've got to say, our installers really are the best. They've all been with us for a long time, and we never use subcontractors.
So you know that whomever is in your home is a Weiss Johnson employee, not someone hired out just to get things done. So the next time you need us, ask for Jody.
Always happy to help.
Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
They sure saw you coming. You went in for about $200 in auto service, and by the time Johnny Slick out front was done telling you everything he thought you should have replaced, you got hosed for $3,000. Big Toy Shop won't lie to you, inflate your bill, or waste your time. You'll know exactly what your service actually costs and when it's going to be done. Take your ride to Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick, family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Man, I love that music. I always thought John Tesh's biggest contribution to society was giving Mary Hart a chance to relax for a couple of minutes before her next story. As it turns out, writing that song was even a bigger deal. Time for Declinations, brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and Declan Krueger, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth double E football coverage on the planet, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts. And with that, it's Declinations times. Duncan with Declan.
Basketball. Speaking of which, I just wrote a article for elksnation.ca.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully it'll be up later today. What the Elks need to do to be in the Grey Cup game come 2026.
Draft well.
Come and check that out. Go and check that out. Yeah, listen, the basketball world, a couple things I want to talk to before we throw it to old Sam and Josh there and get a little bit of a round table going here with the rest of us. Nico Harrison has been fired as the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. Nico Harrison, for anyone who's unfamiliar, you may know him as the guy who made the craziest trade you'll ever see in your sports lifetime. Now, if you've lived through the Gretzky trade, obviously that's kind of number one because he was in fact the great one, and Luka Doncic isn't that. But I couldn't imagine you will ever see a trade like that ever again. A guy who didn't field offers from any other teams, who did it in the middle of the night under the cover of darkness, who traded a 25-year-old who in 6 seasons had 5 first-team All-NBAs. By the way, more first-team All-NBAs than Bill Russell, more first-team All-NBAs than Moses Malone, more first-team All-NBAs than Steph Curry. Did that all by the age of 25 or maybe 26. Like just a generational talent. He trades him away for an injury-riddled guy in Anthony Davis on the north side of 30, gets 1 first-round pick for him back. Now, the league did rig things in the Mavericks' favor because they got Cooper Flagg first overall. So
yes,
things looking up for them a little bit, but just a really like an indefensible move, honestly. And the Mavs start this season 3-8. And Nico had kind of said, like, listen, time will tell if I'm right. He's not going to be around for time to tell if he's going to be right. And here's the other thing. You won't be right because you traded Luka Doncic away.
Did he sort of signed his like exit the day he made the trade?
Kinda. And here's the thing, like Patrick Dupont, or Dumont, I forget if it's Dupont or Dumont, but one of the team's governor, he like signed off on it. Because you can't make that move without going to a guy like that. And now he's kind of walking it back and saying, listen, that was a mistake. That was, we messed up on that one. That one wasn't good. That's our bad. And Nico Harrison, rightfully so, taking the fall for it. I'll also say this about Nico. Didn't do a terrible job outside of that trade. Like, obviously he got Kyrie and they were able to go to the finals with that team. Derek Lively, Derek Jones Jr. wasn't able to keep him, but that signing was good. Like, he had some good moves. Obviously he lost Jalen Brunson for nothing. It wasn't picture perfect, but he, for all accounts, outside of the worst trade we're ever going to see in our sports lifetimes, kind of an above average GM. So he's gone. The writing was on the wall for a while. Maverick fans are celebrating in the streets, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, just really quickly, NBA All-Star format. They're going to a USA versus the world. So how it's going to work, the teams are still going to be selected in the East and West format, the 12 on each side. Of those 12, it's going to be broken down into 3 teams of 8, two 8-man American teams, 2 8-man, and then 1 8-man international team. And if the selections by the league don't reach the numbers, like let's say it's 18 Americans, 6 international, Adam Silver is just going to pick 2 extra internationals. If it's 14 and 10, he's just going to pick 2 extra Americans.
So there's 2 American teams?
Yeah.
And
3
1
teams of 8.
And so, like, the odds of the American team winning are higher because there's 2 of them.
They'll lose for sure. They'll lose. The team were listen.
I am cheering so hard for the world.
Here's the other thing. Like, it's the All-Star game, so no one really tries. Like, no one really cares.
Yeah,
like, it's kind of Adam Silver loves reinventing the All-Star game and not having it work. Like, just keep it East-West, man. Why does it have to be this weird mini tournament? Like, why do you have to have your hand in everything that's supposed to be kind of fun for the league and take it and ruin it? I don't love that about him. But the best players in the NBA right now, like the top 4 players, are all international players. You can make an argument. You can't really make this argument anymore. But a couple of years ago, when Joel Embiid was healthy and was winning MVPs and dropping 70 points in a game, you could make the argument the top 5 players were all international. So the international team, should win. But again, like, it's an all-star game. It's who cares?
I'm going to cheer very hard for the world.
Whoa! Someone said I'm not speaking close.
You're fine.
All right.
If you need to learn mic technique, the Kachuks have a new podcast.
They do.
You might want to learn a little bit about mic technique.
We got this one in from Husks, who's one of the hoop heads on the text line. I do want Josh and Sam to give some of their thoughts here on the NBA season so far. He says Harrison will go down as the worst GM ever. He will never be forgiven, and he shouldn't be. Still can't believe that trade got done. That trade was Connor McDavid for Sasha Barkov and a pick, but that's not even accurate. Like, it's Anthony. This is the thing. Anthony Davis is going to be a Hall of Famer, and Luka Doncic is so good. We're treating him like he's Greg Oden. It was so unfathomable at the time.
Well, I will say this,
and they called him a fat ass on the way out too. By the way, they said, "Don't forget your butter on the way out of town, Luka."
Nice. The one thing when you were talking about Gretzky was partly a sale, so it's not really. I know everybody calls it a trade, but it was the money. I think it was $21 million, which in 1986 money was like. I mean, basically, that's what the Fenwicks do now. It's a lot.
Did you say that's what the Fenwicks have right now?
Yeah.
You wish, pal. I would not be here. I'd be in Mexico right now.
No, but your family believes in you earning your own money.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Alas. I agree with Husks without a doubt, because I'm sorry, you can't get away with trading someone like Luka's caliber and just be like, well, he's a good GM otherwise, because he signed who did you say again? Dennis Smith Jr.?
Well, he had Derek Jones Jr.
Derek Jones Jr.
Yeah, Derek Lively was a great extension to put piece. I really like Derek Lively's game.
Derek Lively's great.
Long.
No.
But you're like comparing apples to spaceships right now of the moves that he made.
No. Well, I think that's what possessed him to do it. That's what I'd like to know.
I think one thing also you got to look at, I think if you look at all these players in their prime that he has on his team, oh my goodness, this is a fantastic team. But I think he completely forgot about Father Time. Anthony Davis isn't the same player. Klay Thompson isn't the same player. And if we're being real, Kyrie Irving isn't either. And so they kind of are preying on Cooper Flagg to be a standout player, which
he will be.
He will be, but right now he's not even the best player in the draft class.
No, I think he is. I think VJ's come back to earth a little bit. I think he's separated himself as the best player.
This comes in. No one cares about the NBA. That's actually not true. People love the NBA.
I hate to say it too, but I'm pretty sure there's more viewership for the NBA than there is for the NHL.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not even really comparable, but obviously
that's because
this is a different
America.
market.
But give Adam
we're-
Silver
we're
time.
talking this market.
That being
listen,
said,
there's no doubt that NHL is more important than the NBA right here and on this show. And I think the NHL butters our bread, and we recognize that. But we also talk about the NHL probably for
today it was every segment but this one.
9 hours and 40 minutes a week.
Yeah. Well, on
We
this
talk about
show
the
we
NBA
do
for
for
20?
sure.
Yeah.
Today we had two guests, both Oilers guests. The first segment was all Oilers. The rumors had lots of it, and then we talked to. Yeah, it's been every segment but this one. So rock and roll NBA. Here's the thing I love about the NBA is as wild and crazy as this year has been, and based on, and I don't watch it like these cats every night. There are so many surprising teams, like in a good way, and
The Bulls.
they're filtering out, and some are going away, some are staying. It's going to be really fun to watch. But no matter how mind blowing this year is, the summer is just as mind blowing, and you never know. And there's so many big stories.
Probably more so.
Right. It's like you can't, the NBA, if you are just looking at entertainment every day, what's going to entertain me every day? The NBA is the best league in the world. Doesn't matter. Tuesday, August 2nd, the NBA will do something. They just do. It's insane how much activity happens.
Yeah, they do it so big, and their trades are crazy, and their free agent signings are crazy. And it's like you look up and it's a player you've never heard of, and he just got $130 million over 4 years, and you're like,
Sorry,
oh. Then you check his stats, and you're like,
whoa,
8
hold
points
on.
a game. Yeah, that's
be
probably
respectful
about
to
right.
Dyson Daniels, please.
And how many
Great
players
area
are in the NBA at any given time?
450.
Right.
And then each team can have 3 players on two-way contracts.
Right. So, and then
It's tough to make the NBA.
In the NHL, it's 23 times 32, which is 750, something like that.
Something like that.
And then another 420,000 on injured reserve.
Yep.
It's not far.
And one on buyout, Jack Campbell, the only player in the NHL who's been bought out.
Man.
We like to
Yikes.
think he is.
I wonder if Daryl Cates has a little, just a little, he opens up his desk, there's a piece of paper, and he knows how much he spent on buyouts.
Oh, God.
Since he bought the team, because it's a hell of a lot.
God,
Well, let's go through the list. It's Jack Campbell. It is. What else did they buy out now? James Neal, they bought out.
Sekera, they bought out.
I was going to say Sekera.
They,
God, this is a great basketball segment.
No,
Fantastic.
I'm sorry. I still a little bit. Let's get back to basketball.
Well,
Okay.
Josh, Sam, I mean, you guys,
Yeah.
I wanted to hear your takes. I wanted to get
Well,
this
you
into
said
a
we're
roundtable,
gonna. Well, when you walked in today, you said I'm throwing Duncan and Declan right to you guys.
which I did. I talked about Nico, then I
Yeah.
baton
And
was
then I
passed.
stole it away. So it's on me.
To be fair, it is your show. You're
Yeah.
allowed to do whatever you want.
Having said that, let's hear your take on Joel Embiid.
Joel
anything,
Embiid has
or
bad
anything.
knees.
I don't
Joel
know.
Embiid has bad knees. Nico Harrison, good firing. About 8 months too late since the trade happened. He shouldn't. I told Declan he shouldn't have been allowed to hang up the phone while still employed.
I mean, somebody had to stop
Dude.
that trade. It's like Jason Moss.
It's
I'm
so
sorry, Ricky
bad.
Ray.
Like that trade was so bad. I don't think people, respectfully, I don't think people really understand what that trade was. Like that trade was in the middle of the night. Connor McDavid for Jack Eichel's actually playing really well this year, but it was Connor McDavid for Brad Marchand and a first in the middle of the night. That's what that trade was.
I love Marchand, but that's a terrible
Good
trade.
player.
It's crazy though, because like you'd wake up in the middle of the night or see something, and it's like the league has been doomed. The bells are ringing. Like the British are coming. Ring the bells. This has happened.
Yeah, it's true.
Paul Revere over here.
Exactly. Shout out to the Bulls. What they have
Yep.
going on over there is absolutely insane. The Josh Giddey coming back from all the things that Josh Giddey has basically dealt with the last 2 years, and basically averaging a triple double, being the best player on the Bulls. Essentially, sorry to Vucevic, it's probably Josh Giddey at this point. And them being as good as I'm absolutely blown away watching Bulls basketball because they move the ball so well. And then speaking of another team in red, the Toronto Raptors right now have, I want to say, like, God, this is essentially sacrilegious. When I watch them play, I get shades of like the 2007 Spurs. Just the ball movement that they have going on around the court. I know, I can see your face.
Okay.
I can see your face.
2007
I'm like,
Spurs?
but like, you know, those like 07 Spurs, or particularly like when they got older, you know, it's just like you watch those plays that they have where it's 20 seconds swinging the ball around, drive, kick, over the head pass, swing pass, all these things. When I'm watching the Toronto Raptors carve up the Brooklyn Nets on a Tuesday night, and every player touches the ball for about half a second before getting it to another player, and then RJ Barrett drives in, but he's so dangerous on the inside this season that Brooklyn collapses on defense to stop him that he kicks out to the wing, and they're like, okay, and the defense fully shifts over to start chasing out the guy on the wing. And then they're just like, and to the corner, and then three, and it's good. I'm blown away watching the Raptors right now. Darko, you dog.
Back to you, LT.
Okay. 154. I hear the music. That's all I had. I have the music. We want to thank Daniel Nugent-Bowman and young Kevin McCurdy. We appreciate their time. Enjoyed this enormously. Jason Krueger is on the way to take you through the rest of the day. And of course, we have the pregame. What time is the pregame?
It is 4:30.
4:30.
No Walker tonight.
Okay.
I will be joined postgame by Mr. Brandon Douglas.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It's a long day for him.
Well, yeah, but he took a holiday, so he deserves it.
Yes, and I guess Gregor's hosting post.
He also doesn't really know hockey.
Thanks for tuning in. Please enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Loca Quality Market. Your fridge just got an upgrade. Over 200 chef-prepared gourmet meals waiting at Loca Quality Market. Shop local at loca.ca. Oilers start their 7-game road trip in Philadelphia as they take on the Flyers. Puck drop at 5:30 with pregame coverage getting underway at 4:30. 3 other games in the NHL with the Lightning hosting the Rangers. Sabres face off against the Mammoth. The Blackhawks look to get a win at home against the Devils. 12 games in the NBA tonight as the Bulls and Pistons kick things off. Knicks host the Magic. Grizzlies take on the Celtics. Cavaliers head to Miami. Spurs head to San Fran to take on the Warriors. The Wizards are in Houston. The Thunder look to get a win over Luka and the Lakers. The Kings host the Hawks, and wrapping things up, the Clippers take on the Nuggets in LA. Coming up on Sports 1440, it's the Jason Krueger Show here on Sports 1440, and this has been your Sports 1440 update with Sam Wilness.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.